from Storehouse Media. How are you, Sherry? And we're going to have a topic I think is really interesting. Everyone says ghostwriter, ghostwriter, ghostwriter. What's the difference between ghostwriting and writing your book yourself with, coaching or a class or different things? What's the difference?
Well, money and time, and also quality. So, people they get excited about having somebody, they get a really good book idea, and they either don't have the time to write a book or they don't know how, or a combination of both. So they come to a ghostwriter. And then but the ghostwriter, they get surprised. They're like, "Oh, they don't know what the budget is and what to expect." So doing it yourself is going to require you to spend time taking classes or uh, reading books or whatever. I mean, I do know some people who they're just real creative in that way and they just start throwing things down on paper. But they usually have some kind of coaching going on. Usually there's some who don't. And then they'll come to me and it's like a lot of editing. So there's a lot of time involved when they write their book and they come to an editor. They'll come to you either with 700 pages worth of content, or they'll come to you with 3 pages. And and they don't understand sometimes how to get in the middle and how to make that content compelling to where somebody wants to read your book. So you save money by going to a ghostwriter in the short run, but sometimes when the editing and all that comes involved, it's going to you're going to start raising up those expenses. You save time if you have a ghostwriter. You go to a ghostwriter, give them the story, they'll take care of it. They do all the heavy lifting. So, is it which is more important to you, time or money? Or maybe it's both. So you've got to weigh it out. Talk to a ghostwriter, somebody who's reputable. If you hear somebody who's charging you $5,000, $15,000, uh, usually it means, to write a book, keep looking, because you're going to get what you pay for. I mean, ghostwriting could be expensive, like the celebrities will have their books ghostwritten and everything else. And it could be quite expensive. But sometimes ghostwriters will work with you, but make sure you do your due diligence, they have a reputation, and that it's not going to be too cheap.
Not
I've seen books that have ghostwritten and they're like, well, I don't, $5,000. And I'm like, boy, that is not going to turn out well. But
100%.
in having somebody ghostwrite your book, they're basically going to take your words and they're going to craft them professionally. And what I consider it's not cheating. It's like having a boss um, tell his secretary a letter he wants to write. And the secretary knows him. And so she takes his words and she crafts the letter great. And so he signs his name to the bottom of it, and you send him out to all these people, and he looks really good thanks to that secretary. But those are really his words. Those are really his thoughts. Those are really his concepts. She's just helping him craft it. And that's the same thing with the ghostwriter, but on a different level.
And it's interesting. AI is able to do that now through podcasting to finally put the words and voice of somebody else, which I think is really writing through the person's mouth. And that's interesting. That's going to happen, and that's going to get better and better and better as we see. In our next topic today, we're going to discuss AI and writing a book. Let's just jump from that to define the types of ghost writing packages you do, because not every ghostwriting project is the same.
Well, we take on almost every genre. And we can take your concept and we can, usually when I ghostwrite a book, because I'm really thorough, I want to make sure that when I do turn it over, that it's readable. So I will ghostwrite a book, I will do a revision. And according to how much research is done, I will do another revision and or a major edit. So by the time the client gets the book back, it's ready to do something with it. And usually, I would suggest, going at least getting a copy edit done before going to publishing. And copy editing, we've talked about editing before, it's more mechanical. Um, but you always want somebody else to look over that content. Even as a ghostwriter, I always have an editor go behind me and make sure my work sounds and looks good. As writers, sometimes when we write things, we know what we're saying, but the person reading it, it may not, they may be like, what? It's like I explain it saying you have somebody driving you home from lunch one day and they've never been to your house and you're driving down the road and you're talking and all of a sudden they pass the road that they turn off to your road and to your house and you're thinking, well, why didn't they turn? Well, they don't know where you live. So you didn't give them the instructions to say, hey, you got to turn left. The same thing with writing. You need to be able to clarify what you have. So I bring an editor always in on my ghostwriting to say, hey, I need you to go through and make sure that it's clear and it's readable. And so we can do that. And that's pretty much a basic package. And then we can come in and we can add on to their, full editing. And if we do it ourselves, it's less expensive. It's consistent. And then we can take it and we can do publishing. We're an award-winning publisher. We have fantastic looking covers. Our interior format layout is like unbeatable. And that's why we win awards, is because we're really good at what we do. And then we can take it to marketing and to the screen. Right now?
Exactly, to the string. I love that one. Now, let's just jump. So I'm going to try to jump back into the when you talk about ghostwriting. Writing a book yourself, you definitely need help. You can't do this alone. So when we're comparing today's episode, we compared ghostwriting to hiring maybe a coach or a class. That's going to take less time than somebody just DIYing the whole thing, right?
Well, and taking a class is going to take time. It's not like something you know how to do and you just dive right on in. So keep that in mind. You've got a learning curve. You've got to learn, and so that always takes time. So hiring the ghostwriter strips all that away from you. Hiring a ghostwriter also ensures you have a professional book. You don't have, I'll get a book, maybe it's 179,000 words. Well, if you put that into publishing industry standards at 250 pages per word, 250 words per page, that's like 700 pages. Like, no, nobody wants to read that. Or they're heavy on the professional side and light on the story side, or vice versa. We do write just, strictly business books as well. But we like to put some stuff in there to make sure that we keep a reader engaged. So we're out there, we know the market, we know what readers are looking for. And, readers are very fickle. And so we want to make sure that we stay relevant as well. And so hiring a ghostwriter is just literally, do you want to, do the plumbing in your bathroom and put in the new bathtub and the new toilet and, rearrange your plumbing yourself, watch some YouTube videos. I mean, you probably can. Or do you want to just skip all of that? You're going to make a mess anyway with the plumbing, but you want to skip all of that and just hire a plumber. It's going to cost you more money, yeah, but you're going to ensure that it's done right.
Love it. That's the big thing. It's done right.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at the different things, the best place is go to Storehouse Media Group right now and schedule a call with Sherry today. Appreciate it, Sherry, and we will talk